welcome everyone. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in to this online talk organized by the Armenian Institute in London. I'm very happy to have you all here online tonight. And I know we'll be admitting people in the room still. But I just want to say, so our event tonight is entitled A Journey Through Sin and Spirit, because indeed we're going to take you on a journey from London to Armenia and Venice via France, and we'll wander through the works of art of Nina Khemchyan, which revolve around, I'm not going to say, she will say this in a few minutes, so her wonderful artworks. I'm very happy and delighted to welcome our speakers today. Armenian is a curator who studied in Armenia as well as in London. And he's the director of exhibitions at the Cafestian Center for the Arts. And the artist Nina Khemchyan is based in Paris. She went to school in Yerevan as well as in France, but they will both tell you more about themselves. So Nina was selected to represent Armenia this year at the prestigious Venice Biennale. There is still, I think, about a month to go before the Biennale closes on 24th of November. So some of you, if you haven't seen the exhibition, may still be able to catch it. One never knows. So I just wanted to give you a couple of elements of context. This year in 2024, it's the 60th edition of the Venice Contemporary Art Biennale, since it started in 1895. And this year also marks the centenary of Armenia's national participation, so a very important year in a way. So I'm not going to say much more because I want to give the floor to Armin and Nina, and I want to welcome them, and we will give them a virtual round of applause now and let them have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good evening or good afternoon, good morning to everyone online. I don't know where are you joining us from, so welcome. We are very happy and honored to be collaborating with the Armenian Institute and presenting the Armenian National Pavilion to our audience online. This is the first time for us doing this kind of presentation. We have talked about the Armenian Pavilion so much, but this is the first time we are doing such presentation online. Let me introduce myself, and I'm Armenian, as you already have heard, the director of exhibitions at the Cafestian Center for the Arts and the curator of the Armenian National Pavilion of this year's edition of Venice Biennale. And I'm joined by wonderful, amazing artist Nina Khemchyan, who solely represents the Armenian National Pavilion this year. I will be speaking English and Nina will join us in Armenian and I will translate. So I hope we won't bore you too much, and I hope this will be an exciting evening for you, and maybe it will be a motivation for you to visit Venice and see the Biennale, including the Armenian National Pavilion. We can talk about it.
Hello. Շատ ուրախ եմ հրավերի համար եւ եթե հարցեր ունենաք վստահով դες պատասխանեմ.
Well, Nina tells that she's very happy to be here, and if in the end you will have questions, she will be very happy to answer them. So let's start our presentation. I hope everyone can see our shared presentation. If not, please tell us, and I can see the thumbs up. So I think everything is fine. So what is important for this year that every time, Venice Biennale is one of the most prestigious and I would say the most important art event regarding the fine arts in the world. And it is an honor for any artist or country to represent there and to have their pavilion or their exhibition. And it was very fortunate for the Fashion Center for the Arts that in 2023, the Ministry of Education, Sports, Science, and Culture of Armenia, the jury of the ministry has selected the Fashion Center for the Arts project, the ECHO project, for the 2024 Venice Biennale. But the story started even further. So it's like we need to go back a couple of years back. And this is just a presentation to understand how important, how old the Biennale is. It started in 1895. So it is the oldest in the series of this kind of event throughout the world. This is the oldest one and most important one. And since 1895, when it was just a couple of countries participating, it has expanded beyond any imaginable limits. And now it's like a very important thing for everyone. They even call it Olympics of Arts, as it takes place every 2 years. And Armenia has always been very active in this regard. Even during the Soviet Union, Armenian artists were represented. And the Republic of Armenia, after gaining the independence in 1991, has participated in the Venice Biennale constantly, starting in 1995. And in 2022, when we did Nina Khemchyan's exhibition, the ECHO exhibition at the Fashion Center for the Arts, back then already, with Nina's idea and also with a couple of pushes from different friends and from the art community, we were eager to present the project to the selecting committee of the ministry for the 2024 Venice Biennale. And our board of trustees was very supportive in this adventure. And we were very happy that in August of 2023, our project was selected. And initially, it was just limited to the exhibition that we already did in 2022, which was these 11 clay spheres, these sculptures, adorned in gold by the poetic hymns, the spiritual songs of repentance, sharakans in Armenian. These are early medieval spiritual chants of repentance. And Nina did this project, especially for the Fashion Center for the Arts. It was supported by the French Embassy in 2022. And these 11 spheres, they are not only adorned with this text of the poems of these chants, but also part of this exhibition is also the voice of Hasmik Bagdasayan Dolukhanyan, who sings the pieces in a cappella. And that's how Nina decided, when she heard her singing, she decided that this voice should be part of the project, presenting the 11 spheres. In the next slide, you can see how this exhibition was featured, how it was displayed at the Fashion Center for the Arts in 2022. And we had this special approach where even she tried to make intangible tangible. When you hear the sound, it is so exciting, it is so touching, it's so spiritual that you want to touch it. And that's how Nina came to the idea that she needs to put it in something physical to make the intangible tangible, if it is even possible. So that's when you see these pieces, how they are presented. Even the display was kind of a quote to the notation of one of the sharakans. If you have some idea, or if you have some musical knowledge, you know the Western notation. So we tried to make these spheres to hang in the air like the notes of the sharakan, like the scripts. And just for you to understand this short clip is for you. So this is one of the chants of the repentance by Mesrop Mashtots from 5th century. Mesrop Mashtots, many Armenians and those who are interested in Armenian studies knows him as the inventor of Armenian alphabet, but he was not just merely the inventor of Armenian alphabet. He was a scholar, he was a priest. He later was canonized as saint of Armenian Apostolic Church. He was the founder of Armenian Translation School and Armenian School in general. And he was also a composer and the founder of Armenian spiritual music. So this is kind of a homage to Mesrop Mashtots, the whole project, and not only to Mashtots, but also his poetic legacy, because these pieces, they are beyond of Armenian, they are beyond Armenian identity, and they are beyond Christian Apostolic Church, beyond Christianity. The ideas in these chants are universal as the ideas in all the pieces by Nina Khemchyan. And when we were presenting these back in 2023, we had only this project for the Armenian National Pavilion. But then when we were looking for a space, because many countries have their permanent pavilions, and it's not the same for Armenia, for some time, for many years, we were either featured on the island of San Lazzaro or in the Murad Rafaelian College. These are two Armenian institutions very important in Venice. But for some reason, starting from 2019, it wasn't technically possible to do so. And not only that, but for our project, we needed something else. And when we're doing our research in 2023, we had, I don't know, days of very long walks throughout the city. There were days that we would go to 10 or 15 different spaces. This is the actual map on the presentation that you can see, and you can see all these marks on the paper map that I scanned for you, that we did our research throughout the city to find the perfect place for the Armenian National Pavilion. And as we were doing so, as I was talking, there were days that we would walk like 35,000 steps, which is maybe average for Venice, considering how hard it is to get from one place to another. But then at the end, we find this perfect solution. It was like a destiny, because we found a very important partner for us, A&A Worldwide company. It is a producing company that does cultural events. And Anon Livachin, our good friend, he made it happen, because this is the first time that the Fashion Center for the Arts, and in general in the history of Armenian pavilions, a collaboration with Accademia de Belle Arti di Venezia. This is the Fine Arts Academy of Venice. And the space that you can see on the slides, these are called the building. It's a historical monument. It is called Magazzini del Sale, which are storages for salt. Historically, they date to 15th century. And now all these galleries that you can see, all these doors with arcs above them, these are cultural institutions, the different exhibition spaces, galleries, museums, and each has their own numbers. So this year, with the support from the Fine Arts Academy of Venice, we secured this amazing place, which is called Magazzino del Sale number 3. It is Magazzino del Sale 3. It's in Dorsoduro 2064. This is the address if you ever gonna go to Venice. It is on amazing place called Zattere, which is one of the famous sightseeing places, and you have the view of the canal. So it's a very interesting place. So when we found Magazzino del Sale, we had the idea as the space it kind of conducted itself, because we're trying to understand how to install the 11 blue ceramic spheres into this space. And we understood when we need to go beyond this initial idea. That's when another project came into the frame. Nina Khemchyan did this piece in 2018 in Yerevan. It is called 7 Deadly Scenes. It is 15 meters of paper. When I say 50 meters of paper, it is one piece of paper. It is one roll of paper divided into 7 sections featuring each deadly scene. So just for you to have the general idea, let's move on to the next short video. So when we understood that we need to add another chapter, another brick into this building, we thought that it should integrate into this space perfectly. That's when we started to understand how we're gonna get into this space, how we're gonna work on the project curatorially, artistically, and it was a long journey. But we had the idea that we have the 7 deadly sins, and we have the chants of repentance. So this was kind of a journey. So we wanted the viewer to have this spiritual, unique experience going through the serpentine of scenes, entering another space which is totally different and have another layer of repentance. And that's when Nina decided to add the final touch to the project, which is called perfection. It is the final golden sphere with the idea of eternity and purification and self-reflection the idea of good in a very broad sense of this meaning. And we worked with the architectural studio Sanach and with the engineering and architectural design studio DUS to understand how we're gonna do it in Magazzino del Sale. So we did this unprecedented hanging system, which is unique only for this piece. You can see us working on this PVC special serpentine mechanism that we moved to Venice from Yerevan. It was around 200 kilos. And then we put it together in Venice all together. This is us working on the installation, which took us 2 to 3 weeks. And it wasn't always fun. We had a lot of fights and a lot of interesting confrontations, but still it is for the work, and we had a very interesting experience. Here you can see Gevorg Tonoyan, Arsen Hovsekan. Gevorg is a head of technical and installation department in the Fashion Center for the Art, and Arsen Hovsekan is our colleague. And you can see all us together working on this, installing this 50-meter roll of paper. These are different extracts, like these different images of our adventure of these 2 to 3 weeks that we had in April before the official opening. The building, which is historical, it is very hard to do anything in Venice because every stone there is historical. So you need to get permit for everything. And it was fun, but at the same time, very complicated. But I think we managed to do everything. And here you can see in these different stages of the gallery transforming into the first chapter of our 3-chapter book, if we can call it that way. We wanted to make the paper float in the air. We didn't want it to stick on the walls. We didn't want audience, the visitors, to understand what is this, how this roll of paper is just hanging in the air. If there are people who have been in the gallery, they can share their impressions. When you enter, you don't understand how this is floating in the air. It doesn't stick to anything. And this PVC mechanism that we created with the studio, it is calculated precisely for this space. It is one-time thing. So after the exhibition, it is gone. This is a couple of other images from the installation. And we were involved fully. We love this picture because we would do anything for the exhibition to be perfect, to represent Armenia on a high level at the Venice Art Biennale. And Nina would take a broom and clean the space, and we would do all the technical works. So it wasn't always about just making the exhibition happen, but it was always about making the exhibition happen the way we want it to happen. We also worked on the design, how to combine these different parts of the project, the scene and the repentance, the spheres, and also the black and white. Because what is this project telling us? That there are very different techniques the artist is involved in. So the Armenian cultural heritage is more than that. So it's beyond all the principles that you can see in the Christianity legacy or other layers of our history. And we worked on the merch, and we did on the design. And the very interesting part of the merchandise that we did was this vinyl that we produced in Czech Republic, in Prague. And it features the translation of the Sharakans, the chants of repentance, into English. And this is a special limited edition. And we have the special poster from the exhibition that you can see. And even the design of the vinyl was made based on the exhibition. And it is available at the Armenian Pavilion. It is available at the Fashion Center for the Arts. It's a real collectible. For a vinyl enthusiast, it's a collectible item, and we wanted this to be a special addition to the Armenian National Pavilion. So if anyone wants to take something from the pavilion, that they can take this one. Now we are also working on the book that will feature all this adventure and the exhibition and the history and the background, everything, every detail. And we are also working on the film, which will premiere on the Armenian National Television soon. And we will premiere it at the Fashion Center for the Arts for the public as well, presenting also the book on the Biennale. And just to finalize everything, I want to share these images from the exhibition and as it is now. So as you can see, this is the first gallery when you enter the Serpentine of Deadly Sins. What is captivating about this project, that in one gallery you can see illustrations, kind of images, visual images that you can read them. They become like visual text to you, because these are the kind of quotes, in quotes I'm telling this, like illustrations of the deadly scenes, and you can read this visual text. And in the next gallery, you can see actual texts that you read as images. So in kind of way, when you go into academics and into translation in general, this is like, this is a very intersemiotic project. This is an intersemiotic approach, because in one case, you can read the images as text, and in the next gallery, you can see the text as images. And they are very different, including one is just ink on special paper, and the other one is clay. This is also shows the scale of not only the artist herself, but also the scale of Armenian culture on the world tapestry. And the final gallery is like a very meditative space, because you find yourself with yourself. You just sit there and you try to embrace the cultural experience that you just have had. And the thing about the exhibition in general, when you go back, you still, because the project is like in between the earth and heaven, because you have the earthly part, which is the scenes, and then you have the spiritual part, the heavenly part, which is the repentance, and then you have the cosmic part, which is the final touch, where you have the moment of self-reflection. But then you go back, you still return to earth, you go back to the world of scenes. And I want to stress this again, that these are ideas that are beyond Armenian cultural identity and beyond Christianity. These are universal principles of evil and good that you can find everywhere, about repentance and about forgiveness and about self-reflection. We had many visitors from different backgrounds, different cultures, of different beliefs, and they all had an upheaval. These are some images from the opening of the exhibition, the inauguration of Armenian National Pavilion on April 18. Here you can see the ambassador of Armenia in Italy, the representative of the Ministry of Culture, the executive director of the Fashion Center for the Arts, Mr. Balhagan Marabian. During the opening, we had the privilege to hear the repentance live. Hasmik Baghdasaryan Dolukhanian was there, and she was performing live at the opening. Her voice is just out of this world. We also had some special guests during the opening. Can you remind me her name? Sviblova. For instance, on the first image, you can see Olga Sviblova, who is the founder and the director of Multimedia Art Museum in Moscow. And she also lives in between Paris and Moscow. And to say that she was touched and deeply excited is just the minimum I can say. She was very impressed. It is the same with other visitors, like you can see on the third image, Professor Bruini from the Ca' Foscari University, which is one of the important institutions in Venice. Also, this year, Armenian National Pavilion, this year, it also did something unprecedented again for Armenian National Pavilions, the series of educational programs and workshops for the public called Spirit, Voice, Image. We did this during Nina Khemchyan's exhibition in 2022 in Fashion Center for the Arts. And then we changed it a little bit and moved to Venice also for the days of opening. And also we did a couple of series in Venice. Different institutions, different university students, and the wider public participated. It was conducted by the Director of Education at the Fashion Center for the Arts, Liza Shirinyan. And you can see images. There are different stages that they go through the exhibition. They learn about Armenian spiritual music and the project in general. Then they use this experience to somehow express themselves on these round papers, kind of reminding the round spheres. These are like mandalas. They become like mandala. On the second image, you can see the Professor Sona Harutyunyan from Ca' Foscari University. She also supported our project very much. And these are just a selection of different comments from the guest book, hundreds of pages already. At the moment, we already have had over 25,000 visitors. And the Armenian National Pavilion is still open, and you can visit it at Dorsodura 264 if you are in Venice till November 24. I think that's it. I hope that we could give you a general idea about the Armenian National Pavilion at the 60th Venice Art Biennale. And Nina, if you had something to share, maybe you can tell something. She would like to answer some questions. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say that we're happy to open the floor to questions. So if anyone wants to ask their question live, speaking, or in the chat, please feel free. I want to thank you, first of all, for this presentation and for the works, of course. I think it achieves a great balance between this universal aesthetic and spiritual experience on the one hand, and then on the other hand, opening a door to Armenian culture and history to those who don't know anything about it. And I like the inclusion of the writing, you know, in a way, and involving all the senses with the sound and the atmosphere that is in the rooms, and the you know, seeing, touching. Of course you can't touch, but you can touch somehow, you know, with your soul. some of these experiences. So I think it achieves a wonderful balance, and thank you for showing us all these the technical, challenges that you faced, because I know that hanging that paper must have been something quite difficult. And when you see it, you do not realize at all this work that is behind it. It looks like it floats easily in the air. So
Thank you.
congratulations on
Very,
that.
very nice to hear from somebody who actually was at the pavilion.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And it was challenging, but we always were backed by the Question Center for the Arts, by the Question Museum Foundation. So when you have such a support on an institutional level, everything is possible. And we are very happy and honored that we managed, I hope, to present the Armenian National Pavilion, the Armenian cultural legacy internationally. And considering the feedback, considering the comments that we get, we feel very deeply touched. And we hope that this project, the exhibition, will go further, and we'll have another journey even after the Venice Biennale. And thank you everyone who joined us today. It was very nice to present you this. It's a little bit weird to do this online, not to see the audience in front of us, but still we are very happy about this collaboration. And on behalf of the Question Center for the Arts, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to you. And I think you provided the ideal ending word with this idea of the journey. And it sounds like it's been a fulfilling one so far, and I hope it'll continue to be. So I want to thank you as well. And in a way, I'm very happy that we were able to do this online. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do it at all. So here we can have people from London and all over the world that could listen and watch the images. So that's quite a feat. Now just to close off, I just want to say that we'll have other events coming up at the Armenian Institute. So please consult our website, which has all of our upcoming events, and most of them are also online. If they're in person, we try to make them online as well, so everyone can participate, and please register and support us in that way. So now I want to thank you once again and say goodbye to everyone, and thank you so much for joining us.